Alright, well, welcome to another Criterion Closet Pick. This time I have my friend Justin behind the camera, and he'll be on in a second. So, there he is. Thumbs up. We're going to come over here, and we're going to pick our first pick for today, I think. I'm going to, since Justin and I have seen quite a few films together, there's a couple of things that I feel like we've both seen. One of them that I haven't actually talked about really that much is Silence of the Lambs. And so I'm really excited to talk about this because this is like one of the best horror / thriller movies there ever is. So anyway, I'm going to let Justin take over now, and I'll show you in a second.
All right.
Well, here's Justin.
Hi, I'm Justin.
You've seen him on the channel before.
Once, maybe twice. I talked about sandwiches last time.
Mm-hmm.
But today, we're going to talk about movies. I'm not very educated like Nathan over here, but there was a movie I saw in here, and it was actually The Last Temptation.
We saw that together.
Yes, I will save my opinion on it here in a little bit, but this is my first pick.
It's a good pick. Alright, so moving on from there is something that I have just recently saw for the first time. It's actually the first Marilyn Monroe movie that I watched. It's actually one of the more recent things Criterion's added to their list. Some Like It Hot, and it's directed by Billy Wilder. I can't wait to talk about this a little bit more.
That's me. So my next pick is going to have to be...
Uh-oh, he's going over to the soon-to-be Criterion's right here.
Oh man, where's that? My next pick is going to be... I don't want to break stuff. Just don't even pay attention.
Ooh.
Is going to be Fantastic Mr. Fox.
That eventually will be a Criterion, so I'm going to let that slide for that pick.
Yeah, and I actually just recently saw this in the past about a year ago. So,
yeah.
I mean, but I'll save my thoughts on this one too.
Alright, so my last pick, I think, let's see, I had something in mind, and I'm trying to remember what it was. I'm going to cut a part of this out.
Why In Bruges isn't a Criterion?
Why isn't In Bruges a Criterion? Come on. That's the real... Why isn't that movie a Criterion?
Why?
Good God. Why? I had it in my head. I remember now. I finally remember it after all these times. Being John Malkovich.
Yeah.
A really good movie by Spike Jonze about John Malkovich, believe it or not. Surprise.
Alright, so we had rehearsals, and I remember what it was. I just gotta find it, and I just forgot what it was.
I remember what it was.
Yeah, I wanted to do some Life Aquatic. Where are you at?
To the left.
I'm going.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You're right there.
Oh, yeah. Justin's blind in his left eye, so, you know, shh.
Don't tell anybody.
So my third pick is going to be Life Aquatic. I, again, saved my opinions on this, but this is like one of my favorite Wes Anderson movies. I love this movie. Alright,
so now we're going to sit down and we're going to have a discussion about why we picked the films we're going to pick. So, alright, let's sit down. Alright, so now we're talking about our 6 movies. Justin picked 3. I picked 3. Since he's my guest, I'm going to let him go first. What's the first movie you want to talk about?
Well, I think I'm going to go with The Last Temptation of Christ.
And
the reason why, okay, is A, I love me some Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. What more can we say about this man?
I mean...
He's Jesus. Look at him.
Jesus.
Look at this boy.
Look, I can even...
Just imagine Justin on the cross. I'm kidding.
Yeah, that got crazy. So, the big reason why I picked this is because, A, like I said, I love Willem Dafoe. And the reason I wanted to give this a shot is because when I was a kid, I've heard about this movie. I never really gave it a chance. One day, Nathan and I and old friend Keon, we all sat down, we watched it. And, I grew up around...
Passion of the Christ.
Around that kind of stuff, yeah. And so I was like, no, I'm going to give it a chance. I want to see what the take on it. So, to be honest, I didn't really care for the movie until, what was it about, the last, 15 minutes of it?
Yeah.
The last 15 minutes of it when everything started, it was a completely different outlook on Jesus' life and you know, what could have happened, and it completely gave it was a 360 on how what I thought. At first I was like, oh, this movie's boring, I don't like it. I can't really get into it. The acting was fine. The writing was fine. I didn't want to see something that like you said, it was a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very end, it kind of punches you like right in the gut, and it got really emotional in my opinion. And then like the last scene, just when it cut to red,
mm-hmm.
and you had the
spoilers.
yeah, spoilers. You know, but it's one of those movies where you sit there and you're kind of like, yeah, whatever. But then the last 15, 20 minutes is what really makes up for all of it. Yeah. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. And I think if they would have picked a different actor to play Jesus, I think it wouldn't have had the same impact.
Sure.
Yeah. But I mean, clearly that's my opinion. But,
yeah. Well, I just remember when we were watching this, just like our conversations, like kind of as we paused it sometimes, we're just like, you know, like, what do you think about this particular aspect? I think what makes this so interesting too is that this was super controversial apparently when it came out.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's in the name, The Last Temptation of Christ. It's in the last 20 minutes that controversial kind of questioning that Jesus had about it all. We don't exactly know if that happened or not, but like, you know, that's what's so amazing about this creative piece of work.
Yeah.
And it's like how The Passion of Christ.
Yeah.
It's the 80s version of that, and before The Passion of Christ got like all of its like controversial stuff, this is like the first time that like actually happened. Mm-hmm. Like it's before that.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Mel Gibson, you know, saw this.
Oh, absolutely.
And then he was like, okay, well, I'm going to put what, you know, my take on it now, which, I mean, this is definitely more, it's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there, so.
Well, that's a good first pick.
Yeah, I'm actually very happy that you're like, hey, this is right here.
Yeah. All right, so my first pick is another movie we've both seen. Probably a little bit, I've seen it countless times. And that is Silence of the Lambs. I absolutely love this film by Jonathan Demme. He's being Hannibal. He's being... who is that man? Who's that guy?
I forgot his name. I really did. Oh, Anthony Hopkins.
Good. And then we also have Clarice, you know, who, this is just one of those really great detective stories where we have this young FBI in training woman who is trying to track down Buffalo Bill, who is this like really crazy killer who's like collecting women's skins.
I think he's worse than Hannibal.
Yeah, come on, really. And so she enlists the help of actually another serial killer to try to get into the mindset of another serial killer. And like that's what's so cool about Silence of the Lambs is it's one of those psychological thrillers that like once it came out in like 1991, a year before I was born, but I remember growing up and like my parents talking about this movie, like this is one of the scariest movies they've actually seen ever. Like, and they don't really watch movies. But that being said, though, this was a cultural movement. I remember this movie being a really huge deal. Once Criterion actually had this prior to, it had it on Laserdiscs and DVD, because it's like number 13. It's a really early Criterion. But this is just a fantastic movie by Jonathan Demme, who is a really, really great director. But it's just, there's stunning performances, obviously, all around. We have Anthony Hopkins. We also have, why can't I think of her name? Good God. Jodie Foster. Damn. Yeah, and so, like, you know, just fantastic performances. You have anything to say about Silence of the Lambs?
I've actually only seen it once. Not because I disliked it. There's just certain movies I'll watch once and I just never go back to them. I enjoyed it. I'm not a huge horror buff, and I would enjoy this. I enjoyed this more than I guess newer horror movies, but I really did like the psychological aspect of all of the Hannibal movies.
Yeah.
Red Dragon being my favorite, but I mean I think overall that movie just captures.
The character of Hannibal?
Yeah, the character of Hannibal, and I mean, I like, if I do want to watch a horror movie, I like a horror movie at the end where you feel uncomfortable, but at the same time you have some relief. And I feel like that movie kind of gave that to you. And newer horror movies today don't really give that to me.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I definitely need to rewatch it. Some of these movies, I've only seen once or twice. Like my first one, I've only seen that once.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I like Jodie Foster. I love Anthony Hopkins. Yeah.
It's just a good movie.
It's a good movie.
All right. Now on to you. What's your second pick?
Okay. And before I continue, as you can tell, I don't know as much as Nathan does. I didn't even name the director in the last film because
Scorsese, which is an awesome director, obviously.
Duh. So my next pick is going to be Fantastic Mr. Fox.
A little more lighthearted.
And I'm gonna. I guess I should show you the movie. The last one I kind of just showed it. So Wes Anderson. I haven't seen all of his movies, but the few that I have, I really enjoy what he puts out there. It's different. It's weird. It's odd. The definition of different, I guess.
Quirky and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you can sit there and you can not only watch this movie with like your family and friends or whoever, you can just watch it yourself and you can enjoy it for what it is. And what I really liked about it is not only like the art style that comes with it. This movie has a ton. It has a great cast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Great cast. George Clooney
being the lead, yeah.
Batman, the best Batman ever.
Bat nipples.
Bat nipples. And then, I gotta read the rest off because, like I said, I've only seen this movie once too. So,
Bill Murray, of course.
Yeah, people.
Meryl Streep, Jason Schwartzman, Bill Murray, Owen Wilson, among...
Owen Wilson's in it too. Yeah, I mean,
he's always in all of his movies. Wes Anderson has a cast that he uses like almost every time he's in one of these movies.
Oh yeah, Edward Norton.
Yeah,
I mean multiple times. Bear Murray, of course. Murray. Yeah, like you just said. I mainly picked this one because I do enjoy Wes Anderson, and I haven't seen a ton of Criterions.
How do you become a Criterion?
I don't know. How do you, Nathan?
I don't know. Be Armageddon.
The best Criterion, clearly. But overall, I just picked this one because I enjoy it. It's fun. It's you can watch, like I said, you can watch it with your family. You can watch it by yourself. It has a good message behind it. You feel good. It's a feel-good movie.
Yeah, I really like this pick because, and I really can't wait to upgrade it to an actual Criterion. But Isle of Dogs came out last year, which I thought was really good too, but not to the level of Fantastic Mr. Fox, because I think Fantastic Mr. Fox just had a much more of a wholesome feeling to it.
Yeah, and this whenever I saw Isle of Dogs, it was really good up until I would say halfway through the second act. It kind of just got lost. It wasn't a bad movie. I just kind of
felt safe.
Yeah, I just my attention was gone.
Yeah, not much. There wasn't very much tension, with a lot of things going on. But for Fantastic Mr. Fox, obviously these are anamorphic characters. They're animals, acting like humans, doing human things. But it's just, I don't know. There's a quirkiness to it. I just really love. It's a different side of Wes Anderson. I feel like he's a little bit more open to doing a lot more experimentation with the stop motion stuff. Yeah, and I think it's really cool because obviously you have normal Wes Anderson movies, which we'll talk about one in a second again, that are live action, but that definitely you could tell are Wes Anderson movies. But with these ones, it's you can tell it's a Wes Anderson movie, but it's got something else to it.
Well, I think he puts a lot of, when it comes to stop motion movies like that, I think he really puts everything into it, and that's why it has that. You can tell it has that touch. I mean, with other stop motion movies, you're kind of yeah, it was a stop motion movie, but with Wes Anderson, I mean, it stays with you. You know, I mean, like I said, I've seen this movie once, but I can remember a ton of stuff in it. And it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's all right. So now moving from Fantastic Mr. Fox, I'm going to talk about a movie that I just saw recently. It's one of the more recent things in Criterion, Some Like It Hot. This came out in 1959. It's directed by Billy Wilder. It's got Jack Lemmon and Marilyn Monroe in it, and also someone Tony Curtis. But it's literally, this is like the first version of like Tootsie, Mrs. Doubtfire, just all of like the men dressed as ladies type of movies. And this was very ahead of its time because Billy Wilder is just one of those directors that was just way like ahead of social issues and was like really pushing the envelope for the message of the community and just like the society at the time in America. And I really love this movie for all the performances in it. Marilyn Monroe, she is the sex icon that she is, and you can definitely tell in this movie that she is a very attractive woman that catches the eyes of these two characters who are literally just running away from a job that they accidentally saw a murder, and so more or less they have to like disguise themselves to blend in and be like, okay, we're not going to get caught. Trying not to, and like they find this all-female troupe of this band, this all-female band, and they're all playing different instruments, and they're a saxophone player and a cello player and a ukulele is Marilyn Monroe, and I don't know, it's just really, really funny, and but like really slapstick, and like both of them kind of fall in love with her, and one of them is trying not to be found out by this really rich guy who's like, ooh, you're really attractive. And like it's just really quirky and really funny, and it's just one of those movies that like also tackles a social issue too, of like what it means to define yourself, based on how we dress up and stuff. And so that's something that's just really interesting. And the last line of this movie, which is I'm not really giving anything away, but obviously everyone kind of finds out that they're guys, and they're running away on this boat from that that millionaire who is in love with one of them. And the last line he says is like, hey, like he's like, we can't be together. He's like, well, that's fine. I have hairy armpits. He's like that's okay. And then he's like, and then he like takes his thing. He's like, I'm also a man. It's like, we all have our issues. Like that's literally, and like that was like the last line of the movie. So it's a really good movie, and I'm really happy it's here. I'm happy this is my first Marilyn Monroe movie too. Mm-hmm. And so I think Justin would like it too.
Well, after hearing all of that, I mean that sounds like a movie I'd definitely watch.
It's a fun one.
I mean, yeah, it sounds really good.
That is my second pick. I think we're on to Justin's third.
Oh yes, my third. So my third is another Wes Anderson film.
More traditional one.
Yeah. This is a movie that I definitely grew up with, like as soon as it came out. What year did this come out?
2000. It should have on the corner right here. 2004.
2004. So I didn't really grow up with it, but I mean.
What is it? What's the movie?
It's going to be The Life Aquatic.
With Steve Zissou.
With some Steve Zissou. And
so you grew up with it?
Yeah, I grew up. I was 14 when it came out. 29 now. So I mean, it's what I really, really like about this movie is I got to be like Nathan, or I'm just a poser, just an amateur over here. What I really like about this movie is just like every Wes Anderson film, just like every film that I've chosen tonight, great cast. I mean, you got Bill Murray, more Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe's in this too.
I love some Willem Dafoe.
That's a really cool theme.
You got some Owen Wilson. Who else is in there? Who's the? Oh, we got The Fly. We got The Fly.
Yeah, we got. Who am I right now?
Are there supposed to be any dinosaurs on this tour? Oh man, what?
Jeff
Goldblum.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
You know who that is?
You got some Jeff Goldblum in it. So, what I really, really like about this movie is it's quirky. It's just all around hilarious. But what I really like about it is it's really, really dry.
Very dry.
And I'm not a huge fan of dry humor. So,
but it works.
Yeah, this is the one movie that works for me, and I think the real reason why it works for me is because Bill Murray just like captures this character who's going off to essentially assassinate
a shark,
this prehistoric shark that ate his friend, and I just the comedy behind it is, you know, it tries to act serious when it's not. You know, and he has a man that comes in here, Owen Wilson, who is his son, and you try to get that dynamic. And at the same time, Bill Murray's like, yeah, I got a son, but I got to kill this damn shark, you know? Yeah. So I don't know. There's something about this movie that when I sit there and I see something that only, you know, not to say anything bad about other people, but something like you and me, we'd sit there and we would just bust up laughing. Yeah. That's something that would happen, and people would be like, "What's so funny?" And I'm like, how did you not? What are you not watching this movie? I mean, like, oh, swamp leeches. No one else got hit. I mean, like, yeah. It's all around a great movie. This is something that I'll rewatch and
catch new things probably every time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I just watched this with my wife a year and a half ago. And she had never seen it, and it was one of those moments. She was sitting there, and something happened. And it was like, I was like, I paused it. Did you not hear what happened? Yeah, I heard. It was funny. But I don't see your reaction. So
I don't know why I married you.
So this is my favorite out of the three that I picked. It's my favorite Wes Anderson movie. I love Bill Murray. I love the whole cast. Even though Willem Dafoe doesn't have a lot of lines in there, he definitely has some signature ones, which I'm not going to quote for you. You can just watch the movie if you've never seen it. But yeah, that's my third pick, and that's how you become a Criterion.
That's how you become a Criterion. Those are really good picks. Now, this is a movie, we're going to move on to my last and final pick. It has the main character in the name. Being John Malkovich, this is directed by Spike Jonze, written by Charlie Kaufman. Charlie Kaufman is the guy who wrote Adaptation with Nicolas Cage. He wrote, I think the most recent thing he did was Anomalisa, which was a stop-motion animated film. And he's also made Synecdoche, New York, which was with Philip Seymour Hoffman, who I love that guy. I wish he was still around. But this movie is a really silly premise about getting into you literally there's this little door and this little cramped office space that John Cusack just finds, and you literally wake up as John Malkovich for like, you know, a small amount of time, and then like somehow it spits you out, and it's
always in the same random spot on the highway.
Yeah, and it's around
in the field by a highway
somewhere. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a really creative, interesting movie, and very quirky as well, in a way, and it's just really, really funny because it's like, I remember reading about this, and reading the fact that I think Spike Jonze and Charlie Kaufman, the director and their writer, they were thinking of someone who's really, really well known, but like not like super well known enough to be like, because everyone knows who John Malkovich is.
Yeah.
But like they didn't want to have somebody else there.
They want to being Bruce Willis. I mean,
no, yeah.
What's going on?
It's like everyone knows who this person is, except it's not anyone would think to make a movie about. And that's why it's so funny.
Well, and I think it was great that they picked John Malkovich because, I mean, John Malkovich as a person, just think about it, it's John Malkovich. I mean,
yeah.
In this movie, when he finds out what's going on, I mean, he's freaking out, and that's John Malkovich. So it'd be perfect. I mean, if you can think of anyone else, I mean, being that actor and besides Nicolas Cage, I guess, but no one wants that.
Or it's like a Larry David kind of moment. Where it's like Larry David just always, like from Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah,
He's just always just like, so he hates everything all the time, and like things happen to him, just like, of course.
I mean, I could kind of see that too, but John Malkovich altogether was perfect.
So unique, yeah. And this movie is just really, really cool. I just love the premise, the concept, just the love triangle that happens in it, and there's just like so many weird things in this movie, but like, it's really, really creative.
Well, part of me when I was watching it, and like I've told you, I haven't seen the whole movie. I've seen about half of it, but I know the rest of it. And I was watching it, and I'm just like, why are there's a lot of, very well-known actors in this movie. This just seems like a very odd movie for these people to be doing. Like John Cusack, I can kind of see it. John Malkovich, I can see that, but then Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
That just threw me off. I was like, what is going on
She
here?
was big in the 90s, and this came out in 99, so near the end of the decade. But you know, this is like, I think one of my favorite scenes from it is when like he just starts picturing everybody in the restaurant as John Malkovich.
Mm-hmm. Which I never got to that part.
I gotcha.
But I just when I was told that, I mean, I immediately could imagine it. It sounds amazing.
It's a funny movie. But yeah, I think that'll do it. These are our Criterion picks for this closet pick. I want to thank Justin for coming on. It's been a while since he's been on the channel, and I'm really happy that I've been able to hang out with him because it's been a while. So
busy.
Yeah, this guy doesn't call ever.
Yeah, and I'm just playing with my dogs.
Yeah, and so
real doggies.
Real doggies. Well, thank you very much for checking out this Criterion closet pick. We had a good time. Give this video a like. What did you think about our picks down below? Just tell us how awful we are, and how awesome Justin is. But also, don't forget to share this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we're not what was the
Johnson?
We're not Johnson around.